The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
Welcome to the Sicilian Corner, winner of the Italian Heritage Media Award, with your hosts, Tom Zappala and Mike Lamazzo.
Good morning, Mikey boy.
Hey, Tom, how you doing, pal?
Mike, where's the 100? I haven't received it yet.
Tommy, I didn't quite hear what you said.
I said I have not received the 100 yet.
The 100 for
that you owe me.
For?
St. Alfio.
Well, I mailed it a long time ago. I told you the day I mailed it.
Well, Mikey, it has not showed up.
You gave me the address of your home in Massachusetts.
And they forward everything in a timely fashion.
Well, you know something? You'll get it probably next month.
Yeah, I think I'm calling shenanigans on this check that you sent, but we'll let it go for now.
Oh, gee, you're a sport.
Hey, welcome to the Sicilian Corner. Hey, this is we made an announcement a couple of weeks ago. The first Friday of every month, we are going to be doing a show with Al and Eszter from Sicily, chatting with Al and Eszter from You, Me, and Sicily. So we're kind of excited about it. Let's bring in our dear friend. I'm glad Al's not here. Eszter Vita from You, Me, and Sicily. How are you, honey?
Ciao. Thanks for having me. Excited for these chats. They're always so fun.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun with it. That's a nice outfit.
Yeah, really.
Oh, thank you.
You look like Martha Stewart.
Thank you. Oh, I don't know if I should.
That's a compliment. That's a compliment.
But
I like the red lipstick, the whole 9 yards.
On my shopping spree in downtown Catania. And by the way, in our last week's episode of You, Me, and Sicily on YouTube, I took you not only into downtown Catania and showed you all types of shops, but also took you inside a supermarket to show you what items are available now in Sicily, and also a little bit of price comparison from last year. So
what about
but wait a sec. This was
Don't interrupt her.
Impulse buy.
Sorry.
Complete impulse buy.
Okay, but what are the prices like that sweater compared to American prices? How do they compare?
Well, this was on Corso Italia, which is one of the most prominent and high end. There's Guess, there's all types of high end shops there. So this was, if you go down Newbury Street in Massachusetts, it's not that high, but the shops can compare.
So it's like that.
Equivalent of.
Well, that street alone has the high end, but the prices aren't as expensive as you would find in Newbury Street, but it's that type of a street. Of course, there's other shopping streets in Catania. Via Etnea, for example, is loaded with shops. Via Etnea is usually the ones that is in the main touristy area. This is a few streets over, and what a shift in prices and also the quality of the shop.
I just wanted to mention, you mentioned about fashion. I can't believe how Italians love the latest styles. I mean, they get caught up, and I don't know too much about what goes on in Sicily, but like in Milan, they'll stand outside for 2 hours waiting, Tommy, for the store to open so they can go in and get the craziest freaking thing, the latest thing that just came out in the market. It's amazing to see. And a lot of the Orientals are the same way.
Is that true? Is that true, Eszter?
It's not as crazy in a lot of places, maybe in Palermo, but right now is the sale. The government has a certain times of the year when they encourage stores to have sales, and this is the time of sales. So it's a good time to go shopping. There weren't crazy lines anywhere. The new spring stuff hasn't arrived. This maybe you could call this spring, but it was in a really cute shop, and it was owned by a woman, and we had a nice little chat. It was just a nice time showing people around some parts of Catania that we don't necessarily go to.
Tommy, I have a question for you, pal.
Yeah.
what do you think, like say 25 years from now, brick and mortar stores, what do you think their function is going to be? In other words, Lucille has passed away almost 5 years ago this June. I have not gone shopping in a store since she passed away. I do everything online. I haven't sent one item back. And, you know, I look at some of these malls and I don't see too many cars. And I was just wondering.
You know, that's a good question, Mike. I mean, the purchases I make about 50% of my purchases online through Amazon or wherever. But for clothes, I want to be able to touch the clothes, try them on. Same thing with electronics. I mean, if you're going to go to Best Buy or Staples for something, you know, that's what we do. So, yeah, I mean, what's going to happen 25 years from now? Everything's going to be changed. I don't know in what direction. But, yeah, certainly it's going to be a lot different than it is today and way different than it was 10 years ago.
You know, I look at some of these real estate investment trusts that are involved mostly in malls, brick and mortar stores. And, you know, their earnings are really going down the tubes. And it's because they got too many places that aren't rented to.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of that's they're converting down here. A lot of that they're converting to apartments. But, Eszter.
Wait, let me say something about that, because a lot of people wouldn't believe me, but there are also malls here in Sicily. So it's not just, you know, those shopping streets and open markets and so forth. There are actually big malls here in Sicily, very close to us, and they're incredibly popular, very packed, especially on the weekends. There's one in particular that has a McDonald's attached to it, and it is always packed. So malls do exist here, and they are thriving.
But you know, you got to be careful of. You know, you got to kind of take a layer off the onion when you're looking at those malls, because look at the demographic. Are there a lot of kids and are they just hanging out at the mall with each other, or are they shopping?
No, they're shopping. They're with the parents. Majority of the time they're shopping. They're with the parents. They're not necessarily hanging out. And a lot of people doing the walking inside the mall in the winter. I'm thinking of one specifically that I've seen people literally walking around, elderly men and women, the men with their hands behind their back, literally doing their laps around the mall.
Oh, yeah, that's very common. Yeah, so let's talk about the Sicilian Project. I was talking to Al earlier in the week. You guys have a lot going on with that. Fantastic stuff. Why don't you tell us about it?
All right. The SicilianProject.com is our nonprofit arm of our business together with Alfred. And we just started our first class since 2020. We have 40 kids, and we're running the class out of Acitrezza and Acicastello, Acitrezza classes. So the kids come from both communities. We are in a beautiful Villa Fortuna, right in Acitrezza, overlooking the Cyclops rocks. We're on the second floor. So the view is just spectacular out there. And I'm fortunate to have 3 women helping us, 3 of our friends. One of them, Maria Paci, who has did a class before in Via Grande, Stefania, who has been our assistant, our good friend for many years, and our new friend, Mariella, who spent 25 years in Australia. And, you know, let me tell you, getting 40 kids into a big room and having activities can be challenging, but also so fulfilling and so fun. And let me tell you, the parents are just over the moon happy about this, because as you guys know, English as a second language here in Sicily, especially Sicily, is a huge problem. And there's a lot of need for English-speaking teachers and courses. And the difference with us, with the Sicilian Project, to what is provided in the classroom is that we don't do any grammar. We just do speaking, conversation, songs, numbers, pictures, conversation, everyday conversation. We've got kids 7 to 14 years old. The teenagers, we have them in one corner and they're asking each other a question, you know, what did you do today? What did you eat today? Like things like that.
Cool, very
the
cool.
goal is just to plant one seed. If we can change one child and make them fall in love with the English language, we've done our job.
Eszter, in Sicily, in high school, is English an elective?
It is an elective in some places. It is a requirement. The big issue is that the number of hours that they're teaching English is going down, down, down. So, it used to be 4, then it's 3. Now, I believe in some schools, it's even 2 hours a week. So that's a big problem. And as we know, English continues to be the language of the workforce, and very importantly. And so maybe if we empower some of these kids to speak better English, maybe they'll be able to better get jobs. And so that's the whole goal of the Sicilian Project. And I'm very fortunate to be a board member now for 9 years.
Wow.
Now,
You guys have done a magnificent job, both you and Al, and you guys have a great support staff.
yeah.
Maria Paci, she's been with Al for years and years and years. I mean, I remember Maria when the last time we were in Sicily. She's such a sweetheart.
Yeah, she's a great, great kid. And, she went to school for 1 year at Merrimack College in North Andover, learning the English language. So she, her grasp of the English language is great. So it's nice to see, Maria Paci, who did a class before in Via Grande, now come back. And then we're going to have also classes starting in Canicattì in March. Bridget and Kelly had their last class was also abruptly stopped in March of 2020. And now they're restarting also with 20 kids. So it's very exciting.
Fantastic.
And then the next class we're going to do is in Agatha. So, we're growing by leaps and bounds, and it's very exciting to see this nonprofit really ballooning.
Not to change the subject, the Feast of St. Agatha is coming up, isn't it?
Yep.
When is it? Tell us about it. Isn't that
This week,
that's
February
the biggest?
3rd.
That's the biggest in Sicily, isn't it?
Yep.
Wait a second. February 3rd, 4th, and 5th is the Festival of St. Agatha, but already weeks before there are preparations and events around it. The Festival of St. Agatha is the 3rd largest religious festival in the world.
Wow.
Let me repeat that.
Wow.
Really?
The Festival of St. Agatha in Sicily is the 3rd largest religious festival in the world. People from all over the faith will come and pray to St. Agatha. She
Tommy,
is, of course, bigots.
Do you know much
And there's-
about her?
I do not, Mike.
I don't either.
No.
Well, guess what?
You do.
Tell you all that. Well, first of all, we have an entire episode on our YouTube channel called
Go figure.
The Festival of St. Agatha. And I was fortunate 1 year to go to Sunrise Mass and witness mass number of people gather at the Piazza Duomo, not just the Piazza Duomo. The entire city of Catania is shut down, and there's hundreds of thousands of people, and the aerial shots of the people lining every single street and waiting for the second where they can cast their eyes on their beloved St. Agatha, and for some lucky children also touch the bust of St. Agatha. So St. Agatha was one of the early saints here in Sicily. She was in the 2nd century, and the Roman senator at the time, Quintilius, was, of course, very much in love with her. But she was, unlike a lot of women then, she was educated, she was beautiful, and she was born to a rich family. And she started giving away her riches to the poor and so forth. And Quintilius didn't like this. He wanted to marry her. He wanted her to, stop praying to Jesus because the Romans were pagans at the time, and she refused. So one day he captured her and tortured her. St. Agatha escaped, and it is said that she went to Malta and hid in an olive tree. And so one of the sweets that is very typical in this period is the olivetta di St. Agatha, which is an olive, a green-shaped marzipan. It's literally green and olive-shaped marzipan.
Wow.
So The Roman senator found her again, but this time he cut off her breast. Her breast mysteriously grew back, and of course, she is most known for being the patron saint of breast cancer.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that's
She's
interesting.
very big in that world. So her breasts grew back. And by the way, the minuti di San Agatha, which are little, you guys have seen the cassata cakes that look like boots with the cherry on top.
Yep.
It's everywhere. Everywhere we have the minuti di San Agatha for the festival of San Agatha. So now Quintilius is enraged. He captures her again, and this time in a red velvet dress, he burns her body. A few years later, Mount Etna is erupting, and by now the name of San Agatha is getting out. Her, people are starting to pray for breast cancer, certain things. And in this year, Mount Etna was erupting, and the people of Catania went to get her red velvet, where she was buried in a red velvet, took the red velvet dress, placed it in front of Mount Etna. Miraculously, the lava stopped, Catania was saved, and now she's also the patron saint of natural disasters.
Unbelievable. All right, listen, we are chatting with Eszter from Yumi in Sicily. We're going to take a quick break. Eszter, we come back. There's a rumor circulating that you make the best baccala in Sicily. That's the rumor. We're going to talk about that. We'll be right back.
Ciao, this is Eszter of You Meet and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together at Butcher Boy to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao!
Today,
Lawrence General Hospital has affiliations with leading Boston academic medical centers. Top specialists from Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center and Floating Hospital for Children at Tufts Medical Center work with our local doctors to bring world-class care close to home. Today, amazing partnerships are happening at Lawrence General Hospital. To learn more, visit lawrencegeneral.org/today.
Italian artisan cuisine combines simple, fresh ingredients with time-honored preparation to create an incredible culinary experience. At Tuscan Kitchen, located in Salem's historic Depot District, talented chefs prepare everything in-house from scratch for all to see. Guests enjoy their meal literally in our kitchen as food is prepared right in front of you. Wood ovens burn from morning till night, roasting vegetables, baking bread, and firing delightful thin-crust pizzas. Prime steaks are seared on a wood grill. A rotisserie slowly roasts marinated whole chickens and lamb, while a pasta maker creates fresh fettuccine. More than just artisan cuisine, Tuscan Kitchen features the wine bar, live entertainment, weekly wine tastings, and elegant private dining and event space. Call 603-952-4875 or visit TuscanKitchen.com to make a reservation and learn more about the culinary adventure that awaits. In Italy, cooking is an art form. Tuscan Kitchen. Experience artisan Italian.
Essex Orthopedics and Optima Sports Medicine is pleased to announce the opening of their American College of Radiology accredited MRI unit at their location at 16 Pelham Road in Salem, New Hampshire. So now, in addition to receiving the best orthopedic care in the Merrimack Valley, as well as physical and occupational therapy at Optima Sports Therapy and Rehab, you can also have your MRI, all in one convenient location. The doctors and staff of Essex Orthopedics and Optima Sports Medicine have been dedicated to providing outstanding medical care to to the Merrimack Valley in southern New Hampshire since 1984. Located on Route 97, just off Exit 2 from Route 93 North, on the second floor of the Workout Club of Salem. You deserve the best care, and that's exactly what you'll get from the board-certified surgeons at Essex Orthopedics and Optima Sports Medicine. Please call 603-898-2244 to schedule an appointment.
A loyal sponsor for the Sicilian Corner is Hilton Oil Company. Hilton Oil has been located right across from the South Lawrence Common since 1932 at 101 South Union Street. Hilton Oil Company specializes in 24-hour burner service, oil deliveries, including automatic deliveries serving all the Merrimack Valley area, plus portions of southern New Hampshire. If you want your car fixed right the first time, bring it to Hilton's state-of-the-art service station. Remember, Hilton's is also a Mass State Inspection Station. Hilton Oil Company, 101 South Union Street in Lawrence. Call 978-687-9793.
This is Cindy,
and Mike Kunstler,
owners and operators of Four Oaks Country Club and Grazie Italian Restaurant in Drake, Massachusetts.
Grazie Italian Restaurant is the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
Why is that?
In addition to the spectacular views overlooking the golf course, we have an incredible new chef, Oscar Figueroa.
We still have all the favorites, but Oscar has created a lot of excitement with his new specials.
Scallops, seared to perfection.
House-made ravioli with farm-fresh local corn.
And buttery, tender, lazy man's lobster, just to name a few.
You have to come experience Grazie Italian Restaurant for yourself.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club, 80 Meadow Creek Drive in Drake, Massachusetts. Hope to see you soon.
Carnivale.
Okay, we are back. Eszter, so you want to repeat that now?
All right, you forgot to ask me about Carnivale.
Well, we didn't get there yet.
It's happening right now, leading up Ash Wednesday, right? We have the big floats and so forth in Acciariale and Shaka. But the big dessert, because everything here is seasonal, right? Is you guys call it in Sicilian wandi, right?
Yep.
Those are, yes. That doesn't look like a wandi.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a wandi.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
Chiara. There's the chocolate, there's the hazelnut, the pistachio one, and the white
powdered chocolate
one.
Wait a minute, isn't there one just with the powdered sugar on it?
This is it.
That's
powdered
it.
Oh,
sugar.
okay.
Here they call them chiara.
Yeah, wandis are great. They're very light. They're delicious. They have a great flavor to them. They almost are like a pizzelli, the same flavor as a pizzelli.
Yeah, very clean,
Listen
very clean
to what
flavor.
I learned.
Yeah.
Listen to what I learned from the master Peter Messina. The dough that's used for the chiara or wandi, as you guys call it, is the same as the ones that they make the cannolo.
Really?
Oh, I believe that. I definitely believe that.
Tommy, you know who used to make the greatest Grace Fiorante? My God, they were a special. They melted in your mouth. I love
my
that.
My mother made pretty good ones too.
Really?
Yeah. But she used to make. They were like circular. They were like they had a design to them.
Huh.
Oh yeah, there's different shape ones.
Yeah.
So the reason we got these at Cafe Urna because we had a meeting with Peter Messina, and it was a bittersweet meeting. Peter was born in Via Grande. He left Sicily when he was 11, and I don't want to give it too much away because we're having on our Sunday show. But the family, after 90 years, sold their house, and we were with him the penultimate night where he slept in the very bed that he was born. So it was a very emotional, very, very interesting interview we had with Peter. Of course, we'll have much more on our Sunday.
Just a question about that, Eszter. So now that Peter has sold, but doesn't he have a brother that lives there or not?
No.
He has a brother. Yeah. Go ahead. Say what you're going to say, Tommy. I'm sorry.
I was going to say he doesn't. So will Peter be coming back to Sicily?
Oh, of course. He's coming back in June. He has other properties.
Oh, he does. Okay.
But the reason why that was especially important and very sentimental is because that's where he was born.
Right.
The family has had that property 90 years, even before there was a town of Via Grande. there were Peter Messina's.
That's a very cool property too. Very cool property. I've been in it several times. It's right down the street from Cafe Erner, and it's right around the corner. It's like diagonal from the Duomo, correct? You can see the Duomo from there.
No, it's right there. It's right. You can see the Duomo from his house. And so we had a little bit walk down memory lane with Peter.
Sure.
I was in the car with him, and he just spoke about growing up in Sicily. And so it was a very emotional interview. Both Alfred and I were very moved. And, spoiler alert, there were some tears.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's on our Sunday YouTube. You mean Sicily?
Well, Peter's a good man, and Peter's a brother of mine, and Al's and Mike's through St. Alfio. Peter Messina has done so much for the organization. He's just a good guy.
He does have a brother, Ray.
He's got two brothers, Raymond and Santo.
Yeah. And Ray used to live real close to me.
Yeah, Ray was here a few weeks ago. We had coffee with him. Ray went back.
Oh, okay.
So, Eszter, tell us about. I'm not a big Baccala fan, but Al swears. He says your Baccala is better than any he's ever had. Is that true?
Well, your brother.
There's a rumor.
Can be pretty critical. So for him to say that, he grew up on Sicilian food. So, but it makes me happy that I can replicate some of the dishes that he so loves. This is a Messina style Baccala. You can also use stocco. And you guys know the difference?
One is
salted.
One of them, which is Baccala, salt is used to preserve it.
Yep.
The other one is stocco, and the sun and wind in Norway is used to preserve it. Believe it or not, stocco and Baccala are, they're sold. People say one is better than the other. To me, it's the same. It is the only dish that is eaten during the Christmas holiday that is not from Italy.
Wow.
Stocco and Baccala, those dishes, the way they're prepared are very Sicilian or Italian, but they are the only two fishes during the Christmas holiday that are not Italian. Imagine that. So the way you do it is, for instance, the Baccala, since it's salted, you have to put it under water for a day or two to get all the salt out.
Yep.
Usually when we go to the supermarket, they already did that process. So all I have to do is cook it. So the Messina recipe Baccala or stocco uses olives, capers, raisins, pine nuts, tomato, either fresh tomatoes or passata, onions, celery, and potatoes.
Oh, that's a lot different than how I remember it. A lot different.
Yeah, some people have it deep fried. There's many ways of eating the Baccala, but the specific one that your brother is talking about is the Messina recipe.
So basically, it's a type of a fish stew.
Yeah.
Like a stew.
That's correct.
Right?
The potatoes are so good. Oh, God.
Yeah, and the olives, I remember the big green olives in there too, but I was never a Baccala fan for some reason.
Eszter, what you just said, the ingredients you put in yours, my father-in-law, Tessie, used to cook. That's how he made it at the house. And
beautiful.
It wasn't my favorite, but everybody loved it. My father used to go crazy. He used to love it. But my father-in-law took such pride in putting it together because it was tradition. And I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. You're right.
Let me say something about that, because your brother, he's gone on this craze with the Guanti, the carnival. And he said, well, why don't they have this year round? It's so good. It's so addictive. And I said, Al, wait a second. That's the best part about Sicily.
Makes it special.
It makes it special that we don't have panettone all year round. We only have it during Christmas. We don't have the Pandora all year round, but only Christmas, but mostly during Easter. We don't have the specialties of San Agatha all year round. Well, actually, in some places of Catania, they do, because the Queen San Agatha is so big that there are some shops that have them year round, but it makes it so special, right?
Absolutely.
And the same thing with a lot of the seasonal fruits and vegetables and produce. We don't have artichokes year round. Oh, let me show you the artichokes that I just got. We don't have them year round, but take a look at this guy.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Can you imagine that stuffed? Oh,
That's exactly what I'm going to do. In about maybe at the end of March, these will be gone. That's what makes them so great. How much do you think this cost me?
I have no. I can tell you what it would cost here. It costs here about $6.
80 cents.
Yeah, crazy.
They usually sell the whole bush, Tom. They sell branches and all.
Eszter, do you cook the stems?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, I love the stems. Yeah.
I do too.
So you know what? I'm going to do it, Tommy, like your cousin Josephine taught me when her and her husband, I'm drawing a blank on his name. Jimmy were here. She taught me how to make it with the breadcrumbs and the garlic and the parsley.
That's how I do it.
Delicious.
Yeah.
The whole key to that, Mike, and Mike, you make them, right?
Yeah, I do.
The whole key to that the way like Eszter is describing is you really, really have to keep the breadcrumbs moist. You have to baste it.
You drizzle it with some of the water and some of the extra virgin.
Exactly. You have to just keep doing that because if trust me,
Eszter, one thing I would like to say, Eszter, about the artichoke is after a meal, it really slows everybody down. There's a lot of conversation that goes on because you can't eat an artichoke fast. So people will sit at that table for an hour and they'll just have a good time and communicate, take each leave. I mean, it's a wonderful thing. It really is.
Actually, Ellen and I do that quite a bit at home, Mike. We don't stuff them, but, we have our cocktail hour.
You don't stuff them?
No. We do stuff them, but when we have a cocktail hour, we just steam them.
Yeah.
And then what I'll do is, we'll have a couple of them, and then I get a couple of different dips just to dip them in.
You put the leaves in the dip.
Yeah, just as a cocktail hour, kind of an appetizer. We enjoy it. We actually enjoy it.
I have to ask you guys something. Mike, do you put a piece of lemon in the water when you're cooking it?
Oh, absolutely.
Boiling it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That really makes it kind of nice. As a matter of fact, I get the zest off of a couple of lemons. And before I put them in the oven, in a Dutch oven with a lid on it, I turn around and I grate it and I put some zest all over it. And boy, I'll tell you, it gives you a little bit of snap to it.
But doesn't it also keep it from discoloring, Mike?
Yeah, well, lemon will preserve an awful lot of stuff. I mean,
I think that's
lemon will keep your stuff from turning brown on you real quick. So
Eszter, before we have a few minutes before we take the next break. Is Malocchio big in Sicily? I've always wondered that.
That's an Al Zapla question.
Really? Well, okay. Let me ask you this question: are there
superstitions?
Are there the old women in the neighborhoods that perform the Malocchio on people?
Only the ones that have a Watt on their nose. That's the only ones that do it.
Look, not in my neighborhood.
Okay.
Not in this vicinity. Maybe
in the villages.
Some places, maybe in the village, certainly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to tell the story again, but I have told it many times. But when I was a kid, they performed a Malocchio on me. They took me to a 90-year-old woman because I was having a stomach problem. And I happened to be faking the stomach problem, but it was like a whole. Oh my God!
You want to stay out of school?
Exactly. And my father caught on, and he knew it, and he went through with them. Oh yeah, no, we're going to have you exercise. We're going to have the Malocchio taken out of you. He busted my chops. Oh, it was very, very funny.
Eszter, is the way Tommy pronouncing it? Is that the way you say it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Malocchio.
I've always said Malocchi.
Well, that's a abbreviation. You can say it that way.
Yeah, I was just curious.
Hey, Esther, how is the weather there?
Today it's been a little bit cool, in the low 50s. Today was probably one of the coldest days of, we're still in January, right? January. No, by the time you're seeing this, it's February, but we're recording it in January. And you know what happens here, February? Oh, that is the month that the sunlight, the daylight just continues to go past 5 and 6. And the weather starts getting warmer and warmer. February is that turning point. Really, January is probably the month that if people are wanting to come here, obviously not a lot of tourists, but not a lot of daylight, and also can be cold. Mount Etna is white. She's been white for a few weeks now. So in some of the elevations as well, there's snow, but I always say that every month is a good month to come to Sicily. But if you don't like the cold and perhaps you want to take full advantage of your time here, just keep in mind that less daylight.
Really, really. We are chatting with Eszter from You, Me, and Sicily. Eszter, let's talk about. We've got about 5 minutes for this segment. Let's talk about some of the tours you guys have planned.
Well, we've been very fortunate. A lot of not planned tours have been coming in. People are finding us on YouTube, on Facebook, and wanting me to put together a customized boutique tour. So we've had a lot of people reach out. For example, someone wanting to bring their family here, a family of 9. They've never been to Sicily, but their family is from Sicily. So what I do is I custom create tours for them. And sometimes we also accompany them. We have no one in February, but we have 2 families in March. Then we have our regular group tours. Right now, our May tour is completely booked up. We do have availabilities on June tour, and June tour is on the Palermo side, and we go to Palermo, Monreale, Segesta, Castellammare del Golfo, Sciacca, which we love. So that whole western area. And people want to come on that tour, and perhaps they have an ancestral hometown on that side or on our side here on the East Coast. We can also help them book a visit to their ancestral hometown. We have a lot of spots open in our October tour. So far, we don't have a December tour, a Christmas tour planned just yet, but I just have a feeling we're going to put something out there. And all of that can be found on www.youmeetandsicily.com. But the important thing is that if you guys can't come during those months, during those days, we are flexible where we can create other tours any time of the year.
Eszter, you mentioned Sciacca. That's really the hometown of so many fishermen. I mean, we see it here in Boston, and that's why so many people. Yeah. Well, that's why so many people came and they settled in the Gloucester-Boston area, because they could continue to fish. A specific fish that I went crazy for every time I was in Sicily was swordfish. Do you make swordfish at home?
Well, that's the, should I say, the national dish of
Is it really?
Swordfish is the haddock, is like the haddock of mass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what haddock is to us, Mike.
But man, what a taste!
Fabulous!
Every restaurant, let's say 99% of the restaurants, not pizzerias, will have a swordfish dish, and they cut it real thin.
Exactly.
Very simple. They grill it, a little bit of olive oil, lemon, parsley, stop. That's the simple way. They don't put glaze and honey.
You don't let it speak for itself. Yeah,
absolutely. And you know something, Eszter, you're making a good point. They cut it thin, Mike. So
why? I like
because
it 3/4 of an inch.
No, Mike, I'm telling you, Ellen and I got into that habit when we came back from Sicily.
That's like a fillet.
You fillet it right down the middle. It is so much more tasty.
Really?
I'm telling you, it really is.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's absolutely delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Let me tell you one more thing, by the way, going back to Shaka. It is a fishing village, of course. There's a beautiful bay. It's a beautiful, beautiful town.
Absolutely.
But you know what else it's known for? It's pottery. Shaka is one of 3 towns in Sicily that are known for their pottery. What's it called? Santo Stefano de Camassa, I'm drawing a blank, and Caltagirone are the 2 others. So there's 3. Caltagirone is in the province of Catania, right outside of Catania. Santo Stefano de Camassa is in the province of Messina, and Shaka is over there, south and west of the island in the province of Agrigento. And each one of these towns have very different styles and use different colors and different shapes and things. And of course, I know you won't be surprised, we have an episode on Shaka and its ceramics and its fishing industry.
Go figure. Go figure.
All right, listen, we're going to take a break. Eszter is in the house with us. When we come back, Eszter, Mike's got some real concerns about the rising seas and is Sicily in danger? Hang in there. We'll be right back.
Ciao, this is Eszter of You, Me, and Sicily. I want to talk to you about Tommy Amin and the great staff at Butcher Boy Market. Families, foodies, and home chefs come together at Butcher Boy to talk good food and create traditions. They offer the best in quality cuts of beef, pork, lamb, poultry, and restaurant-style steaks and chops. Produce? All of their produce is hand-selected to complement any meal or even to make it your main course. Their deli serves fresh roast beef, turkey, and beautiful imported Italian cold cuts, cheeses, and antipasto. And don't forget the Butcher Boy Bakery, featuring sweet delectables from all over the state, as well as their very own bakery. That's Butcher Boy, where the secret to a great steak is, of course, the steak. Located at 1077 Osgood Street in North Andover, Massachusetts, in the Butcher Boy Plaza. Ciao!
This is David from the Sicilian Corner. You know, Mike, Tom, and I love to go to Salisbury Beach, but we love different things and can never agree where to go. Tom likes the casual family-style dining with the great Italian cuisine, Capri's seaside Italian kitchen and pizzeria. Me? I love the elegant romantic vibes Sea Glass with the amazing view and terrific menu, with prices that make it the place you want to visit each and every week. Mike loves a drink in his hand and a cool ocean breeze right off the surf and the rhythms of a cooler reggae band. We all know Mike loves Bob Marley tunes at Surfside. Who doesn't love a great show? National acts, comedy, regional favorites, and the beautiful and intimate Blue Ocean Concert Hall. Lucky for us, Atlantic Hospitality is the host of all of these great places, and they treat everyone like they are Mike Lamazzo. Best of all, we never have to choose. Park the car once and all this fun is right at your fingertips. You can have it all in the heart of Salisbury Beach. Find out all the ways you can have a great night at Salisbury Beach at northshorepavilion.com. And Mike, Tom, and I will see you there.
This is Tom Zappala. Located in the heart of downtown Haverhill, the Haverhill Beef Company is a full-service, old-fashioned butcher shop and meat market that continues to be a valued family tradition since 1952. Peter and Monica Carboni's Haverhill Beef offers individualized service from an outstanding selection of marinated sirloin tips, homemade sausage, marinated chicken, and thick, juicy Chairman Reserve steaks. Your family deserves the best, so call Peter at 978-374-4795 or visit their website at www.haverhillbeef.com.
Hi, this is Mike, and I would like to tell you about the Deborah Care Law Offices, a firm that is focused on estate planning, probate, trust administration, and elder law issues. You will feel comfortable discussing important issues concerning both you and your loved ones, as well as having the information you need to make an informed decision about your family's future. How do I know? Because I'm a client of Dan Deborah Care. If you want to have peace of mind knowing that your loved ones are protected, call Deborah Care Law Offices today. In Massachusetts, 978-686-4645. In New Hampshire, 603-894-4141.
At Catadella Funeral Home, we reinvest in our business to provide your family with the best facilities. It begins with a beautifully landscaped exterior, parking for 250 vehicles, and a comfortable and inviting access to our renovated interior. Funerals can be costly, so you should review and compare plans to make sure you receive services that are fairly priced. I invite you to experience the Catadella difference in cost, facility, and service.
Catadella's honoring and celebrating the lives of the people we loved, providing exceptional care since 1929.
This is Cindy,
And Mike Kunstler,
owners and operators of Four Oaks Country Club and Grazie Italian Restaurant in Drake, Massachusetts.
Grazie Italian Restaurant is the hidden gem of the Merrimack Valley.
Why is that?
In addition to the spectacular views overlooking the golf course, we have an incredible new chef, Oscar Figueroa.
We still have all the favorites, but Oscar has created a lot of excitement with his new specials.
Scallops, seared to perfection.
House-made ravioli with farm-fresh local corn.
And buttery, tender, lazy man's lobster, just to name a few.
You have to come experience Grazie Italian Restaurant for yourself.
Grazie Italian Restaurant, located at Four Oaks Country Club, 80 Meadow Creek Drive in Drake, Massachusetts. Hope to see you soon.
Okay, we are chatting with Eszter from You, Me, and Sicily. Mikey, you have some concerns. Why don't you tell us about what your concerns are? Because we're very concerned about your concerns.
Really? You said that in one sentence. That's cool.
You like that, huh?
Tom, before we go any further, though, and I know sometimes the show gets away from us toward the end.
No way.
And there's a lot of things that we'd like to say that we don't have time to say.
No way.
But, Tom, we lost a very dear friend last week, Nelson Mariano. And
we did.
On behalf of the both of us, we want to wish the Mariano family our condolences.
Nelson was a piece of work. We loved him. He added so much
he was
humor,
colorful. He was colorful.
Colorful to the St. Alfio Society. Rest in peace, Nelson. Great guy.
Absolutely. And to Patricia, his wife, and to Joey, his son.
Great guy.
Wish you guys the best. Eszter, my point was the island of Sicily is a little over 900 miles long in circumference. You got water everywhere. You got 3 oceans, I believe, correct? Eszter?
3 seas. 3 seas.
3 seas, yes.
3 seas.
The Ionian, the Tyrrhenian. Well, actually, Mike, no. Actually, the Ionian is over here by us.
Yep.
The Tyrrhenian is north and west. And there's one spot in the southern and easternmost part of Sicily where they meet and form into the Mediterranean. So it's actually 2 seas.
Well, my point is, throughout the world, we notice the seas are rising considerably from the melting icebergs or whatever the case might be. Has there been an awful lot of beach erosion in some of the low-rising properties, some of the provinces?
It's really not such a big issue here as much as it is in some parts of the United States that have seen a growing problem.
Yeah.
For sure, that's a global problem, Mike.
Okay. When I was driving around one year, and we really didn't have a tour. We were just out on our own, Lucille and I, driving around. And I noticed there were quite a few refineries in one part of Sicily, and I can't remember whether it was
Siracusa.
Yes.
Siracusa.
Yes. I was wondering, with the seas rising, if that was in danger, because that would really be disastrous.
A lot of those refineries are closed right now, Mike. There are some still operational. That over there in Siracusa and Augusta, a lot of refineries.
No kidding.
Mike, if there's something I can talk about, you guys know I'll talk about it. But this area is not so much. But it's not like it's making the news, or else I would know about it. It's not something people are talking about right now.
Okay.
Extensively.
The flip side of this is fresh water in Sicily is a problem, correct?
The water is calcified. People should not drink out of faucets here. In fact, we're always going through, dozens of bottles of water. And I know what you guys are going to say, plastic. We know, and we've been talking about getting a filter. So perhaps down the line we will, but that is a big problem. In fact, in our shower, every few months you have to clean it because the white
absolutely. The calcium.
Calcifies.
At the beginning of the show, you talked about Mount Etna, which is a little over 10,000 feet high, being snow covered. Now, I would imagine most of the groundwater in Sicily comes from that melting snow.
Some of it, but there's also some rivers. There's also Cava Grande, which is the sort of Grand Canyon of Sicily. In fact, our water, the water that we use, that I have right here, is called Cava Grande. So there are various sources from where the water comes from. There are instances, we had a few issues with drought for some years because, as you know, it doesn't rain too much in Sicily. In fact, just came out the sunniest cities in Italy, and I think Catania was the second one with 330 or something outrageous sunny days. We do get some rain, but it has been historically a huge problem, especially in the month of August. And, the government has stepped in a few times and either made restrictions or help with the water, but it is an issue that does need attention and a resolution because it's one of those problems that just keeps recurring. When every time it rains, both Alfred and I say, oh, we needed that rain. So definitely an issue here. But having said that, I don't know if you guys remember, and I think I was on the show here during that period. In October of 2021, we had 2 water cyclones.
Yes.
So literally a water bomb, ran across Catania. I was down there with a tour, and there was water up to our ankles. And thankfully, one of the restaurants, cafes that we frequent, they allowed us to stay in there. So that's not the type of water we need, but we got a lot of water in that period. But it is a reoccurring problem and something that really the government or the private sector really need to come up with some kind of a solution. And what happens also when something like this happens is that the drainage here is so bad because of Etna erupting. So the ashes a lot of times clog up the drains. So, or leaves or whatever, but really the big issue is the Etna ashes, huge problem. And so you get this deluge of water and the drain, it's not able to drain. So, the one thing, as much as we love Sicily for just about everything, there are issues that continue to reappear. And both Alfred and I scratch our heads like, this is going to happen. It happens every year. Why doesn't someone come up with a solution? I'll give you another example. Trash. Inevitably, it becomes an issue. The trash or the trash collectors go on strike, or there's a problem. The landfill fills up. That's another continuous problem. We are an island. And you know what we're doing? We're sending our trash up north to get burned and recycled. Why aren't we doing it here? It's nuts.
It's great.
Doesn't make sense. One other thing, Eszter, recently in the news, an arrest was made of the most notorious mafioso unwanted. Yes. What is the feeling amongst the people? Are they happy that this all happened? Do they feel relieved?
So I have spoken to some of my friends about it, who just shake their head. One of my girlfriends, Stefania, said, this was just too easy, too clean. Of course, there was some kind of a deal made between Denaro and the government. There's those who are saying, oh, of course, the Meloni, the prime minister of Italy, Giorgia Meloni, of course, this happened during her reign. Another big bust was done under Berlusconi. So, there's a lot of stuff that's coming out in the news about what he had in his room, his pattern of activity, which for me is fascinating. He even had a Godfather picture up there.
Oh, wow.
I love
they found all that. Isn't that crazy? They all found all these pictures and just things in his house that tried to recreate what the last days, and he was frequenting a bar, for years before, and no one said anything. And the townspeople, they just, they didn't know. And then this woman comes out and says, "Oh, I was his girlfriend, but I had no idea he was the mafia boss." Don't know. And then the driver gets arrested. "Oh, I had no idea." Really? The doctor that he was being treated.
No idea.
No idea.
Oh, I
gotta love it, Tommy.
Here he is. There's evidence he had tons of cash in there. So how the heck did this guy manage to stay undercover? But it's been very interesting for me, as I said, to read all the news articles about the things that they found, and then the patterns of behavior, where he ate pizza, who he spoke to. He had everything. He wrote everything down. He didn't have a cell phone. So
interesting.
Yeah.
We have about a minute left, Eszter. Website addresses. Go through all that for us.
www.youmeandsicily.com. There you will find some of our tours, and then also YouTube, You, Me, and Sicily. We have over 350 videos. And then our nonprofit is the SicilianProject.com. Can I just say one thing?
We have 1 minute.
It's been 10 years this year that I have known Mike Lamazzo and Tom Zappala, and I'm so, so blessed. And look at where we are now, and look at me here in Sicily. When I first met you guys, I would have never thought.
I didn't even know where Sicily was.
I want to thank you guys. I want to thank you guys.
We love you guys. All right, listen, we're just about out of time. Mikey, have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Eszter, say hi to Al. Remember, first Friday of every month, we are going to be chatting with Al or Eszter from You, Me, and Sicily. With that being said, remember, if you can't make fun of yourself, please do not make fun of anyone.
And may I add, anything is possible. Take care, everybody.
Have a great week.
Arrivederci.
Audio Jungle.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.